Imagine you're lying in bed. It's 2 a.m. The house is silent, the street is empty, but then you feel it. A low-frequency thrumming, like a truck idling outside your window, or a distant factory that never sleeps. You check the fridge, you unplug the TV, you even check the fuse box, but the sound doesn't stop. In fact, it's not just in your ears, it's in your bones. You ask your neighbor if they hear it. They look at you like you're losing your mind. They hear nothing. This is not tinnitus, this is the hum. A global phenomenon that has driven thousands of people to the brink of insanity. Since the 1970s, it has baffled the world's leading acoustic engineers and geologists. Is it a secret military communication system for nuclear submarines? Is it the Earth's own internal organs grinding against each other? Or is it something far more disturbing, a sound that only certain people are tuned to hear? Tonight, we go into the quietest rooms on Earth to find the loudest mystery in history. This is the Obscura Files. To understand the scale of this mystery, we have to look at Taos, New Mexico. In the early 90s, this quiet desert community became ground zero for what would become a massive federal investigation. Residents weren't just complaining about a noise, they were reporting physical symptoms, pressure in the ears, headaches, and a profound sense of anxiety. The complaints became so frequent and so desperate that the U.S. Congress actually stepped in. In 1993, a team of scientists from Los Alamos National Laboratory and several top-tier universities descended on the town. They arrived with ultra-sensitive equipment designed to catch sounds below the threshold of human hearing. But here is where it gets strange. The scientists found nothing. Or rather, they found a lot of background noise, traffic, wind, industrial equipment, but nothing that matched the hum the locals described. Even more baffling? When they put the hearers in soundproof rooms, the noise didn't go away. For many, it actually got louder. This led to a terrifying realization. If the most advanced microphones on the planet couldn't pick it up, was the sound coming from the environment at all? Or was it something being projected directly into the human brain? In Taos, they estimated that only 2% of the population could hear it. But for that 2%, life was becoming an inescapable nightmare. If the sound isn't coming from a localized source, we have to look at the giants, specifically the giants that live in our oceans. During the Cold War, the world's superpowers faced a massive technical hurdle. How do you communicate with a submarine hundreds of feet below the surface without forcing it to reveal its position? The answer was VLF, very low frequency radio waves. These waves are colossal. They can be miles long and travel through solid rock and deep water. Around the world, massive transmitter sites like the one in Jim Creek, Washington, or Skelton in the UK pump out megawatts of power 24 hours a day. The theory is simple, yet chilling. Could these massive electromagnetic pulses be rectified by the human nervous system? Some researchers suggest that certain people's biology acts like a biological radio receiver. Essentially, their bodies are picking up the pulse of global military command, and their brains are interpreting that energy as a physical sound. But there's a problem with the military theory. If the hum is just VLF, why does it stop in certain locations? And why did the Windsor hum in Canada actually cease when a specific blast furnace at a local steel mill was shut down? It seems the military might be responsible for some of it, but not all. Because there is another theory, one that suggests the Earth itself is alive and it's screaming. If the source isn't man-made, then we have to look down, deep into the ground beneath our feet. Geologists have known for decades that the Earth is never truly silent. It has a pulse. This is known as microseismic activity, tiny, constant tremors caused by the relentless pounding of ocean waves against the continental shelves. Under the right conditions, these vibrations can become trapped in layers of soft rock, creating a resonant chamber. It's like a giant organ pipe made of earth and stone, but there's another, more explosive theory. In places like the North Sea or the coast of Florida, massive pockets of methane gas are trapped under the seabed. When these pockets shift or slowly leak, they create a low-frequency vibration that can travel for hundreds of miles. In Windsor, Canada, researchers eventually traced their specific hum to a blast furnace on Zug Island. But in other parts of the world, the noise seems to come from the very plumbing of our planet. Could the hum be the sound of the Earth venting its pressure? Or is it something even more fundamental? The Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic heartbeat of our atmosphere. If the Earth is singing, it's a song that most of us are lucky enough to miss. Because for those who hear it, the music never, ever stops. While many cases of the hum remain ghostly and unproven, there is one place where the mystery was actually caught: Windsor, Ontario. For years, the residents of this Canadian border town were tortured by a sound so powerful it didn't just rattle windows, it made people physically ill. Unlike the subtle thrum of Taos, the Windsor hum was a beast. It was a low-frequency, rhythmic pulsing that sounded like a giant subwoofer buried in the backyard. People reported nausea, insomnia, and even pets acting in a state of constant panic. This wasn't a psychological glitch. This was an assault. Local authorities finally took action. They set up specialized acoustic cameras, devices that can actually see sound waves. The data pointed directly across the river to Zug Island, a private, heavily guarded industrial site owned by U.S. Steel. The investigation revealed a massive blast furnace that was vibrating at a specific frequency, turning the entire island into a giant speaker. The sound was so low it traveled through the ground and across the river, resonating perfectly inside the homes of Windsor residents. In 2020, the steel plant was idled, and just like that, after nearly a decade of torture, the Windsor hum went silent. It was the smoking gun the world needed. It proved that these sounds are real, they are physical, and they are often the byproduct of our own industrial footprint. But for the people in Taos, or Bristol, or the thousands of hearers scattered across the globe where no steel mills exist, the silence hasn't come yet. For them, the source is still out there, hiding in the frequencies we weren't meant to hear. The Windsor hum gave us an answer, but it didn't solve the mystery. Because for every industrial blast furnace we shut down, 10 more hums continue to pulse in the middle of the wilderness, far from any factory or power grid. Are these people the canaries in the coal mine? Are they sensitive to a shift in the Earth's core, or perhaps a new era of global surveillance that uses the very atmosphere as a transmitter? Or is it possible that the silence we think we know doesn't actually exist? That the universe is naturally a very noisy place, and some of us have simply lost the ability to tune it out. We live in a world of frequencies. Most carry our music, our conversations, and our data. But some carry a warning. If you're lying in bed tonight and you hear that distant, rhythmic thrumming, don't bother unplugging the toaster. It might just be the planet itself, or something far more obscure, trying to get your attention. Do you hear it? Or do you know someone who does? Let us know your stories in the comments. Sometimes the only way to stay sane is to know you're not hearing it alone. This has been the Obscura Files. Stay curious, stay alert, and keep listening.